Thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk today about reputation management. If you don't know what we're talking about, you definitely need to listen in because this could impact your business drastically. It's the difference between the phone ringing and the phone not ringing. It's the difference between actually having a company that's growing and having your employees and your team enthusiastic about working with your company, or people that actually want to go work somewhere else. This is so vital right now. I mean, so many people are concerned about their reviews and actually getting good customers, and this could actually take away customers if you ignore it. So your reputation online is so critical to the future of your business. This should be number one as far as your priority when you grow your company and your brand on Google. Because in this day and age, they say that like 97% of people that are shopping online actually look at reviews and they look at what other people are saying about you before making a purchase online.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess to get started, what exactly is reputation management, and why is it so crucial today?
Yeah, so when somebody goes to look for a product or a service, like let's say somebody was going to look for a construction company and they were to go online, reputation management is doing all the things you should be doing anyway consistently to create content that actually supports your business. And when people look at a website, they either justify why they want to do business with you or why they don't want to do business with you. So if you give them an excuse to like work with your company and you put out all your positive information, your testimonials, things like that, then people feel good about actually giving you money and actually working with you. But what happens on Google is the reference point of the customer visiting your site can really impact them on some subconscious level, where maybe now they're having doubts about whether or not they should actually do business with somebody.
So it can either negatively affect your business or it can be, what grows your business.
Right.
So paying attention to these things is pretty critical these days. And now what happens when a company is passive with their reputation management?
Yeah, most of the time when people come to our company, it's when they're passive.
Right. And it's a oh shit moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have this urgency, they feel the pain. Oh my gosh, I just lost a $27,000 sale. I need to do something about this now, yesterday.
It's a wake-up call.
Yeah, but nowadays, like, people don't even have coffee with somebody unless they actually Google their name.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
They're not going to come and meet them. So you're definitely not going to give somebody your credit card if you, like, Google somebody and bad stuff comes up.
Or nothing comes up,
Right.
Yeah.
So from a reactive approach, we have a lot of people that will reach out to us where they're on, like, a Ripoff Report or a complaints board, or their Yelp reviews. A lot of the people that do business with general public, a lot of contractors, roofers, remodeling architects, every time they're like, can you get me more reviews? Reviews have become so crucial in this day and age when it comes to business, probably even more so than a website.
Really getting into reputation management, you've given us a bit of a breakdown of what it is. Now going forward, how can businesses be proactive about managing their reputation?
Right, so when anybody wants a proactive approach and they want to start their company, there's a couple of key things. So first of all, your website needs to have a good first impression. They say that most people within 3 to 5 seconds judge whether or not they want to do business with you based on the impression of your website. I mean, they say you have to become what you want to attract, and so if you want to attract great customers, got to have a great website. Right. The other thing is the website needs to have things that build trust when someone visits the site, like testimonials. A lot of people have video testimonials. They have documentary style videos talking about the process of how they work with customers.
And then credibility, I'm sure,
credibility.
Who you worked with in the past and what was their experience working with you. So testimonials are huge.
Also content, like blogs. Like a lot of people say, well, why do I need a blog? And I think a blog, if you do it the right way, it shows your passion about like the services that you offer, as opposed to just a business out there to take somebody's money.
Right, it's a fully comprehensive approach and it has different angles, and then it's also informative for the viewer. Maybe they don't know what it is your company's doing in all the different aspects, so that's a great way, a great medium to kind of get the message across.
Right, and having those in different forms, whether it be written, videos, and also utilizing even images and graphics off of Yelp and Google reviews. Social media. Social media, I know a lot of people have this whole doubt or this fear that if I invest my time and my money into social media, is that actually going to give me a return? But social media is actually a really big trust factor, and social proof, they say, actually lends to a lot of people making purchases. So when people go to your website, a lot of times they'll click on your social media, which should be linked to your website.
Of course.
And then people get a little bit of a transparent like window into your company and kind of what's important to you. So if they look at your Facebook and you're putting up helpful things for customers,
Right.
you know, they feel like, wow, they're really giving people value. So having social media, whether that be Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, to again, give them reasons to do business with you. I mean, they say in life, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So it's really important to put the attention and detail in it and really put the care in your business, because that will translate into getting more customers.
Right.
And, you know, with content creation, it also helps push out positive factors on Google, whether it be not just SEO, but when people go and search for your company, if you're creating this content, then what's going to happen is they're going to see a whole bunch of evidence that, like, you guys are excited about what you do.
Right.
And people like to work with excited people.
Awesome.
So
I just read a recent statistic saying, 45% of all potential customers are looking at Yelp before they even decide to do business with somebody, whether that's going to a restaurant or choosing a car servicer, etc.
And these days, I mean, we have Yelp, we have Google reviews,
Right.
There's
Testimonials,
Angie's List,
yeah.
there's so many different ones out there. Yeah, so if somebody actually ignores, their reputation, it could cost people millions. We were working with a consulting company that was doing about $900 million a year. They estimate they were losing somewhere between $13 to $15 million a month by the fact that they weren't even taking care of this. And they were actually on Ripoff Report, they were on Complaints Board. But Ripoff Report, if you're familiar with Ripoff Report and you've been on this site, it's painful when you lose a client and they call you back and cancel or do a chargeback on their credit card because they're like, oh my gosh, they're on Ripoff Report, and people get scared. The silly thing that people don't know about SEO is, like, when you respond to bad content, it actually drives
Worsens it.
the rankings up. And so I many times have to tell people, listen, I know you're angry, I know you're upset, do not respond, do not comment on it. So it takes some strategy to, like, pull people back and do things that are actually going to drive the Ripoff Report down. Once you're on a Ripoff Report or a complaints board, there's definitely urgency, because now it's impacting your bottom line and your revenue.
Yeah, it's something to deal with right away.
Right.
Okay.
So this consulting company that was doing $900 million a year, literally within a month, we were writing about 500 social media posts every single month. We were actually writing another 500 Twitter posts every month. We were doing 60 articles a month at 1,000 words each. And we did this literally for 3 years. They were in something we call the Google Autosuggest. So if I go into Google right now and I type in, we'll put in some words, corporate consulting. And see, as we put in the corporate consulting, we see that there's a bunch of suggestions that come up. A lot of these companies that get on Ripoff Report and they have a lot of complaints, if let's just say the company was called PQR Roofing, right? When they put in PQR Roofing, right after that comes up complaints or
so
scams.
That's the first deterrent right away.
Exactly.
So that's a red flag for any potential customer, is like, okay, this is obviously ranking really high. They must have a lot of negative reviews.
Exactly.
Maybe they won't even get to the search page.
That's going to impact that. And we've actually cleared the Autosuggest, which actually has to do with creating a lot of content. And then we would post those on different sites like Tumblr, Blogspot, and there was so many different sites that we would post it on. I'll show you actually.
So spreading it, throughout a bunch of different mediums so that.
Yeah. Like, here's a list of the content, and you can see how frequent it is. And so all these are all in the same day, but it just keeps going and going. And we're putting these up on WordPress, Storify, Tumblr. These are high domain authority sites. And what this does is it creates what we call a digital firewall. So that way there, when people type in the name of your company, now the content is coming up first versus like all the bad stuff.
Right.
And you've got to do it consistently. You just don't do it for a week.
Yeah, you have to.
And you're good.
Yeah.
And it takes time for it to actually happen.
Months.
Creating a certain behavior, and then it takes a lot of work. It's not simple, to get there. Because what Google does is they look at the trends on your company, and then they start to auto-suggest that. So the question is, if you are on Ripoff Report, even if you push it down to number 9 or number 10, the question is, how far down do you want the Ripoff Report to be? Most people want it on like the 50th page of Google, so nobody finds it. And I can tell you that I've heard some crazy stories of people that had huge deals that were happening, and then all of a sudden the client went ghost. Like nobody wanted to talk to you and you had no idea what happened.
Yeah.
And this happens. I mean, the sad part with a bad reputation is Google can't send you a postcard saying, congratulations, you just lost, $2.7 million last year.
Yeah, it can happen within a week or overnight, basically.
Exactly. I think we've shifted into a society where like every little thing in business is important because of Google.
And the microscope is really on, I mean, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no hiding if you're doing poor business. So it's exceedingly crucial to make sure that across the board, all of those things are being met and nothing's being, left.
Right. So another site that they were actually on was called Pissed Off Consumer. And this is online consumer reviews. And, many times people do all sorts of weird things. So that's why you have to like really monitor like what's going on. So this is one called Pissed Off Consumer. If you look right here, we're looking at Google My Business. Now this is really important because when you're trying to get ranked online on a mobile platform, they call it the local 4-pack, because a lot of times you just see the top 4. But there's actually some ranking factors on Google reviews. One is like, how many reviews do you have? So if somebody is out reviewing you, a lot of times they can show up before you, again, putting fresh content on there. And then having some kind of strategy in place with like your existing customers. There's actually a lot of different software out there where when someone actually does business and a transaction is processed, immediately they get like an auto email.
Like a leave a review.
Right. The other thing I was going to talk about a little bit, if you have a sales organization or you have like a call center or you're calling a lot of people, a lot of times people don't do any reputation management on their phone numbers. So like actually Googling the name of your company or Googling the number, because like if you're making a lot of calls in a call center, there's some preventative measures that you can do to actually switch out numbers. And so I think from a preventative measure, you should always check the name of your company, because if you're not doing reputation management and you're not building out your social media content, you start to lose business. So you should have a Facebook. In fact, this report that I was showing you with this one client, besides the content, we're putting stuff up on SlideShare. SlideShare is actually LinkedIn, and a lot of business people are on LinkedIn. We are also putting stuff up on Pinterest. And Pinterest is known to have a lot of shoppers that are looking for information.
It's visually dominated too. Helps a lot of designers or artists or people that are imaginers or creatives.
Right. And then there's Twitter. We would do Twitter posts, also YouTube. Videos are important. By building out these links, like for example, for one of our clients, they had about 700 videos, and we took 700 videos and we split it into audios. And then we pushed it out on 15 different platforms for podcasts. So if you take, 700 times 15, it's roughly 10,000 links, which most people never put up 1 or 2 links of a podcast. Right. What happens is iTunes will come up above the negative stuff. As you do this consistently, now when someone types in the name of your business, they get all these great things like iTunes and Stitcher and iHeartRadio and YouTube, and the activity, doing it consistently really does pay off. And then people go, wow, this is a great company. They have a podcast? Oh, I could listen to this.
Right. It shows they care. It shows that they're, again, well-rounded. And
exactly. Put some time into it.
Okay, and then going into content creation, at its core, what exactly is content? What does it do for us? What, why is it so exceedingly important right now?
That's a great question. Many people get lazy and they'll just copy and paste. They'll find something online. In fact, I worked with a business owner who I actually did reputation management for too. But what he used to do is he had all these different companies, and he would find a website that he liked, and he would copy the paragraph and just put it on his website.
Right.
Like he had people reach out to him going, hey, why do you have your content on my site?
Right.
There's actually tools out there. One is called Copyscape, and so when we start working with clients, we actually do a scan of their website to see if they have any duplicate content.
Right.
And Google doesn't know whether to rank you or the other person, so they won't rank anybody, and it doesn't actually help you. So that's why unique content is important. The other thing is where you put the content. Like putting it on your blog and your domain is important, but also putting it on high domain authority publications, whether that be like you can put articles on Facebook, Evernote, LinkedIn. Really, when we do reputation management, we do SEO. We just do it for your brand.
And what is SEO?
SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And what that means is when you go to Google and you put in high-end organic catering, then you don't just come up for that, you actually have to write content. So your website has to have content about organic catering. You've got to write blogs that are on site. You've got to build some off-site.
And in those blogs, using target keywords that the potential customer or client is going to type into Google. So the forethought to think, somebody might search for avocados, and we want to do 20 different variations of avocados in this county and avocado catering and all of this kind of thing.
Right.
That's going to generate a lot more results than just plugging in your business name.
But then also there's software out there where you can actually look to see what is being searched. So you should do that before you start building content, because how do you know what kind of real estate to build if you don't know who's going to show up? It'll actually tell you like what volume of searches will happen per month. And then we also use a tool called SEM Rush, and you can put keywords in there too, and it'll actually give you suggestions and give you like different types of content and questions that people are asking, right? So you have to know like where the traffic is. The other thing that you want to do too when you're doing SEO is actually look at your competitors, because most of the time if you start from scratch and you like try on your own, you're going to cost yourself a lot of money. But by using SEM Rush and some of the tools that our agency has, we can actually look at your competitors' ads and shortcut that path so that we're actually on the right track immediately.
And then develop a comprehensive strategy that's going to target all of these things.
Yeah, exactly.
So, to close our seminar, so to speak, with this.
Yeah, the hardest thing about this when I talk to owners of companies is you can't measure all the business you lost, because those people aren't going to call and tell you. So many owners that call me up and this like really gets in their side like a thorn. I mean, there's so many sites out there, even for jobs. I mean, sometimes even when I hire people for my company, like I'll Google their name and I'm like, oh, there's a lawsuit. Like, oh man, I wonder what happened there, And so
they show up under mugshot.
Yeah, I mean, I know even companies these days, a lot of them do background checks with everything going on in the world.
And
they do Google checks.
They also do Facebook checks now.
Exactly.
So they're looking at like as a whole, what is this person like? So it gets pretty intimate.
Reputation management can literally like haunt you. Like I know people that get up, early in the morning, like, oh my gosh, it's still there.
Well, and it plays into the psyche too, and it's not what you're dwelling on as a business owner.
Reviews are like the oxygen of business these days.
The Yellow Pages.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you for all that amazing knowledge.
Oh yeah. And if anybody, wants information, we invite you guys to reach out. You can message us on social media. We'll make sure that we interact with you. And if you have any questions that you want, we're happy to like respond to people and help them out.
It's a relatively new thing that everyone's kind of now understanding is huge. But if you can have the knowledge like what we've just talked about, that's going to make or break your business.
Whether you hire us or not, like do a free evaluation and let us just open up what is being worked on as just a third-party advice.
Right.
Because many times, like, we'll talk to companies and they'll be like, I'm totally fine, I got it covered, I got somebody in-house, or I'm working with the company. And then we get in there and we look at it and we realize they're missing 90% of what we do.
Right.
And that owner would have never had any idea that they weren't getting all the other stuff.
Right.
I know a lot of these calls that we do, people go, oh my gosh, this call's worth like $10,000.
Right.
Like,
And is that a free consultation?
yeah, it's a free consultation that we do for people. And then it's totally up to them whether or not they want to work with us.
Right.
I mean, because what we do takes a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like pressing a few buttons
Right.
here and there. We put a lot of thought into it. So if someone doesn't have the right mentality, which I call just like a long-term marathon mentality for business,
Mm-hmm.
then they're not going to be in business too long.
Right.
Yeah.